The extrude command that we find in the 3D functions of Illustrator is very helpful in so many cases. Let's look at another one here. This little area right here of the Toys R Us building. Now I happen to have in the background the high-res version of that open so we can really see how that looks. And there we see that we have these letters. And they are, in fact, three-dimensional letters. They do extrude from the facade on two different sides of this triangular metal thing here that they have on the side of the building. See, it's this little sign that wraps around. So these 3D letters were created in Illustrator. So let's go see how those were done. Here in Illustrator, we see the letters. They were just drawn up as paths. They are individual little paths, as you can see right here. There you go. It's a path created in Illustrator. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of these shapes here, except for the ones inside the R. I don't need those. So I can go in there and just deselect these little shapes inside that R, because those I will not need. I just want these other shapes that we see there. So now, I'm going to go into my extrusion, which right now is set to black here. We could set it to a gray, perhaps. Just bring down the black there, right there, like that. That's good enough. And I'm going to go into my 3D extrude. So in my preview, right off the bat, we'll see that they became extruded. So I can go in there and see them from different angles, and we see that we have this little extrusion to them. Now I'm going to just cancel this because I have other files here where I've already done that. And we can see the layers here in Illustrator. Let's turn this one off, and we see that we have one here where we have them straight on, and then this one where I've just rotated them slightly so we can see the sides of the letters. Those are the ones that are on the other side of the sign. Now, when I imported these into Photoshop, I imported two different sets. I imported this, plus I imported this. Why did I do that? Let's go see that. If you look at the letters here, you see that they have that edge, and then the front face, there's the R with the little quotation marks, and you see that all the letters have different colors inside of them. So when we go look at that actual file, there it is. And we see that we have quite a few layers. We see that we have the path. There's the paths of the actual letter shapes. So that allowed me to go in there and select individual letters and colorize them the way I wanted to. And when you look at the different layers, of course, the background is just black. There's the outside depth. There's the 3D layer. That's the one that was imported after I created the 3D file. Let's get in close and look at it. It was lit properly in the Illustrator file. And in here, I added some additional shadows and darkening areas, just using dodging and burning to go in there and highlight certain parts and make them even brighter than they were in the 3D, just to enhance it a little more, because there are lights next to these letters, which will cause reflections. On top of that, I have an inside depth. That's just a little gray edge, which is just going to give me the impression that there's this little gray inside these letters. Then I got a layer on top of that, which is the actual colored letters. Now you notice that they have some layer styles. It has an inner shadow, an inner glow, which is dark, and then a stroke. So all these additional tones were added inside, and here you can see the R is very well pronounced now. And then we have this other layer here where we've added some more tones that create more of an effect around these letters to make them look like they're being lit from behind. There's the star's edge, because the star has a white to it right in there, and there's something clipped inside there, which is this little shadow to give it that little depth inside the letter. And there's the rims, the little edge to the outside of the letters that we see right there. Let's pull around and we see there's the little edges. Let's turn that rim off. You can see it's just a little stroke line that has a little bevel and emboss, little highlights added here and there. And of course, once all these things were put together, they were all combined into a single layer called the logo comp, which is the one that was then imported over to the file that has all the other elements that make up the Toys R Us facade.